Okay, now we're going to switch to sugar for the next demo, just because it makes the GUI look a little nicer. So here's the terminal widget, and let me switch to my directory first. Okay, so first of all, unmodified applications in Sugar. The good news here is that the Sugar GTK theme does wonders for making them look like real members of the Sugar desktop. Right, so this isn't so bad. The big problem, in fact, we even used the GTK theme to sort of replace some of these icons. I've been pestering Evan, our graphic designer, to do more of this. So this is actually the standard keep icon, and I think these are Sugar icons as well, but we don't have a replacement for cut right now, and some other minor things missing there. But here's the big problem. The open save, suddenly I'm not in the journal view. This is some completely other thing. In practice, this tends to be very confusing to people, and when they save stuff here, in the past it hasn't actually appeared in their journal, and all the metadata is lost, and all sorts of stuff like that. So can we do better? Well, I think we can, through the magic of LD preload, one of the fun Linux hackers bundle of tricks. Now, I should say that what I'm doing here could be done by just simply patching GTK as well. We don't have to use an LD preload hack. But I am, because it makes my development a little bit easier for demo quality purposes. Also, it decouples my implementation from GTK so that I don't sort of have to update my patch every time there's a new GTK version. Well, so let's just skip to the point. Look, select file open. Now I get the exact journal view right here, and it's resizable and all sorts of wonderful things, except Matchbox, I don't think it will actually let me resize it. And I can type in it, I can do the / and all that kind of stuff. So one key thing here, Inkscape is not written in Python. This is written in Python, the GUI implementation you saw before, if you were paying attention. So what's actually happening here is I'm taking the GTK file chooser widget, which has a very nice GTK file chooser interface already sort of abstracted out, so that users don't get, users of the GTK library don't get access to all the internal workings of the file chooser. And I'm replacing it with a GTK socket, and then sending a dbus call over to my little journal server, which opens the same GUI that you saw before, and a GTK plug, which plugs into this. So all this is happening out of process. And for our security model, the nice thing here is that Inkscape doesn't actually have to see all the files on my system. So the journal is giving me a very nice view of everything everywhere. But that can be done by the trusted journal process. The only thing Inkscape has to see is when I actually select something here, that I return a path to Inkscape that lets it open that file. So for our security model, since Inkscape actually runs as its own separate user in its own separate space, what it means is when I select something and hit open, Inkscape is going to get a path to something in its local space, which is a copy of that file, or all sorts of magic. But basically, the access to files is mediated through the journal, which is consistent with our broad security model. And of course, it doesn't work for Inkscape. It doesn't just work for Inkscape. It works for all sorts of unmodified applications, including custom written applications for the journal too. This is now we just tell people use the standard GTK file chooser mechanism, and that you don't need to do anything special to run in Sugar. So this is plain old Firefox. This isn't my my sugarized Firefox activity, and one of the ways that you can tell is that the checkboxes are laid out kind of funny. But I can, I open a file here, same thing. I get the journal. I don't get the weird file widget. Okay, so that's the embedding demo. I was going to say one more thing about our custom journal implementation, which is just that those preview icons along the side. Let's look at them really quickly here. I'm not satisfied that when you do a search for this should be what record, but I don't quite have that hooked up yet. For images, it's really hard to see what these images are, and I'm not completely convinced that the solution is to sort of embed a preview inside this tiny type icon. I kind of think that maybe what needs to happen is a separate icon alongside it, which is actually the preview image. Evans also has a design which has a sort of right-click context menu here, which would pop down with a preview icon. But I'm not convinced that you want to scrub up and down here to find the image that you're looking for. You really want to do is scroll back and forth with the scroll bar on the side and sort of see the images as you go. There's also in Evans mockups there is a separate icon view which has the larger thumbnails. That might also be a solution. Great. So last demo is going to be a brain dead collaboration. That's next.